Thank you. Thank you again. The Business of Music Conference. My name is Brian Irby, CEO, One Nation Under God Records. And I just also want to shout out our host sponsor for this evening, the godfather of internet radio, Andre Carter. And we thank you for joining the Business of Music Conference. If you would, please bow your heads with me and pray. Thank you, Father, for this day. Thank you for the information that will be shared. Thank you for everyone that is able to join us on this evening, God. I pray that everything that they're coming for is answered, God. I pray that any question that they have that they're able to ask, God. I pray that you take these artists, Lord God, to the next level in their career and their ministry, God, and just bless them along the way. I also pray for the speakers, God. I pray that they're able to deliver, God, the presentations that they have to the artists, that they're able to understand, that they're able to take them from here and go on, God. So please be with us, God, as we venture on through this journey of the Business of Music Conference. And we thank you now, and we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Greetings. My name is Brian Irby, CEO of One Nation Under God Records. And today I present to you an ongoing educational series for music artists called The Business of Music Conference. Here, take a look at some of our scenes from previous conferences.
Hosted by One Nation Under God Record, you should have showed up so you can get the show up, man. But we out. Much love and respect. Peace.
The theme for this year's conference is Advancing the Music Ministry. And we have a great line of industry speakers that will be presenting today, starting with Andre Carter, the godfather of internet radio, Synergy One. We also will hear from Raul Arsenault, PR, Dr. Trinell Stewart, PR and management, as well as Milton Allen, international distribution, and Kenneth Smith, record label and radio. And our moderator and host for this year's event is none other than Bonita Bellamy Kelly of the Bellamy Group. So sit back, relax, grab your pen and paper, and get ready for an experience like no other. I introduce to you again the Business of Music Conference.
Yay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Business of Music Conference. I am your moderator and host for the evening, Benita Bellamy Kelly, and I'm coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. And it's so awesome to be sharing with you guys tonight. I'm excited just about what all we're going to be hearing, what all we're going to be seeing. And we've got some great conference speakers coming up. Some of these speakers have been in the industry for years and know such awesome information and skill sets they're going to show, teach you, and talk about. And we want you to take notes. Take some notes, people. We want you to ask questions. Ask questions. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to give you some information and help us all continue to thrive in gospel music. And I am going to get right into it. I don't want to take up too much time talking because we've got so much great information. I'm so excited. Our first speaker coming up. Let me tell you, I love this guy. Andre Carter is the owner and editor of Gospel Synergy Magazine and the owner program director of the Stellar Award-winning internet gospel radio station, Synergy One Radio. You know, we call him the godfather of gospel internet radio because he is. He's really taught us all how to do the internet radio thing. So put your hands together for Mr. Andre Carter. Hey, Andre.
Hey, Benita, how are you?
I'm doing well. The floor is yours, sir.
I'm doing just fine. Wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of, or for being a host for this great event for the Music of Conference. I basically am out of Chicago, Illinois. I started out in 1997 with the Gospel Magazine, Gospel Synergy Magazine. And I was introduced to internet radio in 1999, 2000, where I did my first show. As time progressed, I got my own internet radio station, dropped the magazine in December of 2015 because it was no longer fun. So in April of 2003, I started Synergy One. Well, I started with a radio station by the name of GospelPower.fm, and then in 2006, I started Synergy One Radio. 2012, 6 years, y'all, 6 years, I got a Stellar Award for Internet Radio Station of the Year. I started the internet radio because I would hear independent artists always saying that they can never get airplay on their main radio stations in their area. And the same thing was going on here in Chicago. So I started internet radio as a ministry to fill in the gap for the independent artists that weren't getting airplay. It turned out that it worked very well. A lot of the independent artists started getting the airplay, and then more internet radio stations started to come on the scene. When I started, there was only 5 people. Henry Harris, Kevin James, Delroy Sheldon, myself, and then there was one other person out of North Carolina, Reggie, Brother Reggie. We were like the first 5 to really start gospel internet radio. And we used to have a lot of conference calls trying to get the independent artists to get into the internet radio stations. A lot of them came on. A lot of them started to get airplay, much needed airplay. And then in 2019, Synergy One Radio became one of, I believe when I started, there was like 15 BDS monitored internet radio stations. And this was a real blessing because now the artists will be able to get airplay on Synergy One, Media Network Radio, and a few others where their music would actually chart. So they would be able to see their music charting on, no, not really yet to the Billboard yet, but if they were BDS and they had access to BDS, they would be able to see that their music was charting. This turned out to be a real blessing because now the artist's music can start moving up the charts, and it would pour over. The more they get spins they would get with the internet radio stations, it would pour over, and then they would actually end up getting on the Billboard charts. So we've been a blessing. I feel that we're going to be even more of a blessing as time progresses with the streaming, the internet radio, and all of the stuff that's going on. So if anyone is interested, or if you've already gotten airplay on Synergy One, thank you so much for tuning in. But for the new artists, if you're trying to get airplay, you can submit music to alcarter@gospelsynergy.com. Our website is synergy1radio.com. And I'm open for any questions, because I do better with questions than I do with presentations. I don't know why, but I can answer the questions better than I can give the presentation. So,
Okay.
what is the question that you wanna hit me with, Benita?
I have a couple of questions for on behalf of the people. So you mentioned BDS. Can you explain what BDS is? Some people may not know what BDS stands for or what it does. Explain to us, what is BDS?
BDS is a service that has been monitoring all genres of music for like 40 years. And from the charts that they do, when an artist's music is registered with BDS, BDS does 5 things. 1, they're going to monitor the number of spins you get on radio, that's terrestrial and internet. 2, they're going to monitor the number of streams that you get for on demand. 3, they're going to monitor your sales. So it's important to, when submitting your music to radio, that you include your ISRC code. And this way they'll be able to monitor how many individual sales that you got for a single. And they'll also want your UPC code, so that they'll be able to monitor how many sales you get as far as your full project is concerned. So it provides a great service. And they have, well, let me just say that internet radio, we're working towards becoming acceptable, not acceptable, but we're going through the trials and tribulations, and we're being monitored so that we can eventually get a Billboard chart.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there's no internet radio chart on Billboard. So you have to be able to have access to BDS in order to see the internet radio chart. And there's now 30 internet radio stations that have become BDS in the last 6 months. So it's growing.
Yeah, that is growing, because I remember when they started some of the internet stations being monitored, and there were 8. So
Yes.
it has grown quite a bit. And with that growth, what do independent artists need to look for as far as, and I see it a lot where stations will offer promotions or packages. How does an independent artist know, one, that the station is legitimate? What should they be looking for? Because there's a whole bunch of internet radio stations out there now, like a ton. But what does an independent artist look for when it comes to spending a little money on promotions and the legitimacy of that internet station? Help us out with that a little bit.
That's a tough one to answer, because we're individually owned and operated. We don't have we're working on creating our structure so that we can stay within the guidelines. Try to be nice here. You want to be able to go with the radio station that's been out there the longest. All right.
Just be open and honest.
You want to go with a radio station that offers transparency.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to buying packages, you want to be able to say, okay, I saw your packages, I saw your rates, I saw what I want to get in your package. And you don't add anything, you don't take anything away. What I have a slight issue is when people offer and they say, well, call this number and we can, give you our rates or whatever the case may be. I feel that when that happens, then when the artist is talking to the station owner or the program director or whoever it is in the sales department, they're listening very closely. So if you say something, the artist can come back and use that against you. Well, Mr. Carter, you said that I was going to get this and I was going to get that. I'm not seeing those results. So now I have to go back and honor my word. And I used to have that same issue when I was doing the magazine. You just have to honor your word. And I would say that it's like shopping. You wanna listen to what the people are offering, and if it sounds real, then you want to do it. And again, Synergy One Radio is very transparent. When you go to my website, you'll see a link that you can click on that will give you our radio promotional packages. Okay. But you just have to be careful because everybody's trying to generate streams of income, and they might overcommit, and some may undercommit. But transparency is the key. And then I've been doing internet radio for 18 years. I was introduced to it in 1999, so it's almost 21 years. I did my very first show for 6 months on an R&B internet radio station. And as time progressed, I eventually got into it. And I loved internet radio because I love being a blessing to the independent artists. Now, there's different categories of independent artists as well.
Very true.
So I look at the James Fortunes, the Dottie Peoples, Angie Spivvies, that have all become independent artists, John P. Key, the list goes on and on. But I want to be a true blessing to the new artist that's just coming out. And I saw Minnie Carter, she posted some information. She's, she's been with me almost a year. And we've been promoting her songs, and she loves the results that she gets from the promotional packages that she's gotten from us.
Well, awesome. All right. Well, one last question for you, Al, and we're going to get off of here. But you mentioned your email, sending music to you for through your email. What is the protocol? What should an artist be sending you in order to get their music played? What all do you need, and in what formats?
I need the music submitted in an MP3 format. I need them to include a short bio. In the short bio, they should indicate their ISRC code, their UPC code, which really isn't necessary, but I do want the IRSC because a lot of people are releasing singles. So the ISRC code is for a single song. They can let me know that their music is registered on BDS because as a BDS station, I'm required to play a certain amount of, everything I play should be BDS. Right. So before you start to submit your music to any radio, go to bdsradio.com and register your music. Right. Then you submit your music, and if I like it when I first hear it, I'm just going to add you to rotation. No questions asked.
Yep, and you do.
I don't ask for money up front. I don't try to sell you anything. I'm going to give you spins if you buy a promotion or if you don't. That's what radio does.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Andre Carter. We appreciate you. Now, you guys can still ask questions about radio and internet radio. Type them in the comment section, and we're going to have a Q&A at the end of once we get through some of our panelists, we'll come back and do a Q&A. So if we didn't get your question answered about internet radio, don't worry, we got you. We got you. We'll come back at the end and talk more about it, and you can ask Andre some more questions directly. But that was Andre Carter with Synergy One Radio. Okay. So again, thank you guys for tuning in and logging on and streaming and spending your Friday evening with us here. And we are going to keep moving along because we've got some great panelists coming up. And I want to introduce the next speaker. This beautiful lady is the founder and creative director of Hoot Chocolat Multimedia Group. That is a boutique multimedia agency that specializes in public relations, integrated marketing, and brand consulting. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Raru Arsenault. We need you to unmute for us, Raru. We want to hear you.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Thanks, Benita, for that illustrious greeting. Thank you, Brian, for having this awesome platform for all this information for artists. And like Benita said, my name is Raru Arsenault, founder and creative director for Hot Chocolate Multimedia Group, based in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also the managing partner and writer and film producer for Eclipse Studios, where I serve as unit publicist for film and placement of music in films, television, and video games. As a publicist, I manage your visibility, your brand awareness, your outreach, and I also help create your public image. And I'm ready to get into some questions tonight from Benita, because that's like my thing. I just want to help the artists out there. So enough about me. What's going on, Benita?
Oh, okay. Well, Miss Raru, I'm a publicist too. We are sisters in the industry. So I'm going to ask you some of the questions that I get a lot. So I know it's on the minds of some of the people. First, how does an independent artist or a new artist find a publicist? How do they find a publicist?
Oh gosh. We're everywhere. I know here in Atlanta, there's tons of publicists. You just have to do your research, ask around. I'm sure between management and booking and labels, you'll be able to find a publicist. How do you find a good publicist? That's harder, I think. You just got to do your research and see. You need to find out basically what you want in a publicist first, and then you go and you try to see what is the best match for you, because all publicists are not the same, all specialties are not the same, and you basically want a publicist that's worth their salt and basically can handle what you need to be handled for your career. And that's only something you can do as an artist. Taking your time. I wouldn't make a snap decision. I would kind of take my time, just checking that publicist out, make sure they're vetted, ask around, look at their work, and nothing beats research. That's my thing. You got to research a publicist, just like everything else. Almost like buying a car or a new house. PR is an investment. It could be very pricey, so you don't want to make a snap decision on and entering into a contract that may or may not work for you. So just good old fashioned research.
Yeah, research. I say Google. Google is our best friend.
Google, yes.
And what I find too is if a publicist is really good, you won't see them, but you'll see their work. And you can find them from their work.
Yes.
So we are the silent partners in the background and do that background work, but our work is loud. So, when you see an artist all over the place, whether it's on TV, on the radio, they're on all the websites, et cetera, that's people like we're putting them there. Right. That's the work of a publicist. So like she said, go and research and find some of the artists that you like and see what they're doing, because probably if they're getting a lot of visibility, they've probably got a good publicist. And you want to know who that publicist is.
And the PR world is very small too. So I tend to run into the same publicist over and over again.
We all know each other.
results, and we know each other too. So that's another thing. It's like, you heard of such and such. I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. Not that they're not good or whatever, because
Mhm.
people come out of school every day and graduate and become publicists and things like that. But your publicists that have been around for a little time, we all know each other,
Right.
especially at work as well too.
All right. So when is an artist or an author or someone ready for a publicist? Like, I know we're in this DIY kind of do it yourself, and everything's accessible. You can do all things and everything and don't need nobody. But when is it time for really an artist or someone to step out and get a publicist?
And you're right. There are many ways you can create publicity and do um, PR hacks for yourself. I think you're ready for a publicist, number one, when you have that project that you know it's time to create a team around it and really execute. Everybody has a lane to execute. And it can be, you can be an indie artist and have that project. You don't have to be a major or on a label. But when you're ready to take it to that level of next, and you want that team, when it's too much for you to handle and you've done all that, you've exhausted, and you're like, okay, I think I need a team to build this and to help me execute that project. And I think and a good publicist will tell you either you're ready or you're not ready as well. I do that a lot. You're not ready yet. And it's okay.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody gets to a point when they are ready, but a good publicist will not take you on if you're not ready, because again, their work speaks for themselves, and it may not be time. You may need another 6 months, you may need another year, you may need 2 years, and they will also give you tips to help you get ready to
Mhm.
have that project where you need them on. And so, again, more research, more time spent. Because I always tell people, if I roll it out, I can't unroll it back.
Right.
So it's just like, you
That's
want to be ready to roll it out and not waste your time,
Mhm.
my time, your money, resources, or anything like that. And people have a long memory when things don't go right or whatever.
Exactly. Don't
So
they remember that the most?
you want that, you want them to have, oh my gosh, you know, understand and remember. I said, you want people to remember the project, or you want people to remember all the other stuff attached to it? And they're talking about that stuff, they're not talking about the project, and that's not a good thing. So we definitely want to wait until it's the right time. And I think that's what people are forgetting about now in the do-it-yourself age, is PR is all about the art of the reveal, and you want that reveal to be spectacular. You want that, what they used to call back in the day, spectacle. You want that. And
Mhm.
so it's hard to get that over sometimes, because we are in a microwave era where things happen so quickly. But PR is not what you want to happen quickly. You want that sure, steady unfold, that wonderful reveal that will last forever and ever. You want that until your next project. That's what you want.
That's good. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, as a publicist, a lot of people, especially, of course, during award season, they think publicists can get you on the red carpet. That's all they think to do is walk the red carpet and get people on the red carpet and get them interviews. Well, what are a couple of things specifically that you do for artists, besides walking an artist on the red carpet and getting interviews? What does a publicist do? Give us just maybe 2 or 3 things that you do for an artist.
Before the red carpet, to get ready for the red carpet, or just
Just in general, like whenever you take on a client, what are some of the things that you typically do for that client? Some of the jobs or tasks that a publicist might do.
I definitely I also have a background in law, so I definitely always make sure all their songs are copywritten, and if they have any trademarks and things like that. I think that's a specialty thing that my firm does. And I put them through a media training course,
Mhm.
so they can learn how to speak in front of the media. And I also craft, um, instead of a bio, I kind of craft a brand story, because I know people fall in love with the person, not necessarily the product or the project or whatever. So those are three of the top things that I do for before we even get to image or anything like that,
Mhm.
wardrobe, just those basic things to making sure that their business is in order before we put them out there.
Good, super. Well, awesome. Well, like I said before, we will have more time for questions. I've sort of asked the questions on this one, but if you guys have any PR publicity related questions to ask Waru, please put them in the comment section. We're going to come back at the end of all of the speakers and answer questions. If you think of something about publicity or about media, anything you want to ask Waru about publicity, she's going to be back later to answer those questions. So think about them, write them down, send us your questions, write them in the comment section, and we'll get to them. But that was a great overview of PR publicity. So we're going to move on to our next presenter. Awesome. All right. Our next presenter, let me tell you a little bit about this gentleman. Milton B. Allen has 40 years of innovative frontline experience, which has made him a prime mover and shaker and maker in international sector of music and entertainment. He is the managing director of Global Music Link LLC and All Access Africa Ltd, specializing in licensing, marketing, and distribution of music overseas. He's going to be our Mr. International for the evening. So you guys get ready, ask your questions, get ready for some good information on international music from Milton B. Allen.
Oh, wow, Benita. Good evening. How are you? Wow, that was a who wrote that? That was a great introduction. Thank you.
You're somebody.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. We don't have a lot of time, and I just had a couple of things I wanted to touch on. I am the sole owner of Global Music Link, as you mentioned. Last month, September, marks my 21st year licensing, marketing, and distributing gospel music around the world. I've been in the music business all of my adult life. I've always been an inside man, not the high profile guy you see shaking hands and taking pictures, but the guy that, makes things work and understands why they work the way they do. My first entry into gospel was I went to work with my dear friend Vernice Watson hired me, and we went to work at Gospel Centric. We ended up running the international department, and it all took off from there. So I've, as I mentioned, I've been I'm also the USA editor for Keep the Faith magazine. It is Britain's leading Black and multi-ethnic Christian magazine promoting and supporting unity, faith, and family values. It publishes bi-monthly. It publishes the physical edition in the UK and is available in a digital edition around this world. And we actually have 3 writers who do columns in each edition here in the States, and we do features, and we just have it's a really good opportunity. We're currently in the midst. Now this is crazy. When this event came up, I was right in the middle of launching a brand new platform. And first of all, this is something I never thought I would be doing at this stage of the game. But when God gives something to you, you just got to go for it. So we're launching a new platform based in London, All Access Africa, which I'll be talking about in a moment. So I have a little theme for today, and this is not going to take long. My theme for today is be the model in the moment. And I got to thank my pastor for that, Apostle Mike Freeman, for giving me that. But I always think, music is like in my DNA. So I always think in terms of music and lyrics. So today, I'm sure a song we've all heard. Donald Lawrence's song, Bless Me, the Prayer of Jabez. This is what I'm going to use to start off. The hook of that song, and I'm sure you can almost hear it in your head, is enlarge my territory, bless me indeed. All right. So it's I'll read it to you real quick. It's 1 Chronicles 4, verses 9 and 10, New King James Version. Now, Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bore him in pain. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, oh, that you would bless me. Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory indeed. So that's what we're all here for today, to talk about, is enlarging our territory in whatever space that is. That's why we're all here watching this. So the way I look at it, so this is what I mean when I say be the model in the moment. Whether you're a singer, a songwriter, a producer, an aggregator, a distributor, a radio plugger, I'm talking about being true to your faith and true to your craft. Because if you don't, I mean, in other words, you can't be one way doing music and then over here be another way, because it just won't work. It'll fail. And the reason why I say that, and trust me, I know, because I have failed many times. I mean, but when you fail, what do? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you talk to the God of your understanding, and you start all over again. It's really that simple. He really is a God of second chances. So speaking of starting over again, as I mentioned, we're not literally restarting, but we're adding on to fill a void that we found in the international music market for independence. So let me tell you a little bit about that. All Access Africa is exactly what it says. All Access Africa. It is incorporated in London. It's a London limited corporation, of which I am the director. The sole purpose, it has one sole purpose, and that, oh, thank you. One sole purpose, which is to level the playing field for independents by giving them an equal shot with the big artists. So you say, well, how can you do that? Well, you know, we've seen that disparity, because we have our big artists. I mean, that's where that's a great deal of volume. And and independents come on and they want to be a part of it, but when you can't produce for them, then we have to really sit and really sort that out. So this is how it works. All Access Africa works because we do that by guaranteeing them. Now, nobody says guarantee in our business, okay? But by guaranteeing them placement on over 70 mobile music platforms. That's audio streaming, video streaming, long-form video streaming, and of course the traditional digital platforms, and giving them vital marketing support. And so we had to really work this out. So we're doing that at a price point that's affordable. That's really affordable for independents, not some crazy price. So it's something that the average artist could recoup in 1 quarter, or even 2. We hope 1. So that's how we're carrying it, and we want to be able. The whole concept is to give the independent a level playing field and an equal shot. So that's all I got, Benita. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
That's awesome. I'm getting excited about All Access Gospel. I think that's going to be great, because so many independent artists, I hear it all the time because I work with independent artists. They just want a chance to be on the same platforms, or to be, on the same shelf, or on the same website with the A-level artists. So that's great that independent artists are given that opportunity, because we've got a lot of great independent artists out there that deserve that. One quick question before we go on. What is something, and a lot of artists want to tour internationally, or want to go overseas and experience the overseas music scene or perform. What is something independent artists can do to get ready to be able to tour or perform internationally? Okay.
Well, number 1 is make great music. That's number 1. Number 2 is make great music that appeals to a wide swath of a wide swath of listeners, and even in different countries. I mean, and you collaborate. You collaborate. You collaborate with musicians of other genres. You use Afro beats or Caribbean beats. I mean, Afro beats practically rule the world now. Music, practically rule the world of music now. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's about collaborating, and it's about, in your creative process, extending yourself beyond and bringing in others to bring in new ideas and new resources. And it's all about the music, and it's really in the Christian space. It's all about the message.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. And again, if you all have any questions about international music, getting your music played, heard, touring internationally, whatever is related to doing something overseas, make sure you give our comment section a question. We will also have those questions at the end of the session. We'll have a Q&A. So if you think of something about international music, Milton's your guy. So or make sure you pop those questions in the comment section, and we will get those answered for you. Thank you, Milton. Appreciate
Thank you so much, Benita.
All right. And you guys remember All Access Gospel. And let's see, be the model in the moment. I love that. I wrote that down. Okay. We are moving quite along, moving well along, and we have more speakers coming up. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you're getting good information. I hope this is useful for you. Again, if you have questions, please, we're here for you. So write your questions down, and we'll tackle them at the end of the Q&A, or put them over in the comment section. And it could be about anything music related. We've got people here from every sector of music, from marketing to international to radio to PR to management to all that. So we're here tonight on this conference, and it's your opportunity to ask questions about your music, your career, and allow us to help advance your music ministry. That's the theme. So we're here to help you advance your music ministry. So we're going to move on to our next presenter, and this is Dr. Trenell Stewart. She is a business marketing specialist and consultant with over 12 years experience producing advertising for brands and helping leaders showcase their talent in the business world. She has produced custom campaigns for independent music artists, authors, speakers, startup companies, and seasoned entrepreneurs. She's going to give us some information about music marketing management. Get ready for Dr. Trenell Stewart.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good to meet you guys. Again, my name is Dr. Trenell Stewart, and I am the CEO of You First Media. I also own that company. It's a smaller sector in our You First Enterprises. So we deal in a couple of different areas. If we can pull up the presentation, please, for me. And I will go over a little bit about what we do, and then we'll go into a bit about management, because I want to give you guys some great information that you can take with you, that you can build on, your own career and continually go forward in it. Now, You First Media, I'll go ahead and start. I know he's pulling that up. It says radical PR marketing and management for Christian hip hop artists. And the reason that we use radical, because we go against the grain. It's a lot of things that we do. We can go ahead to the next slide. There's a lot of things that we do that encompasses the whole of an artist. And that is digital marketing, that is PR, and that is management. But we say radical because we go against the grain. Christian hip hop artists are artists that are not widely accepted. We have a 2% margin where we have gospel artists in the whole entire music industry. And so when you think about 2% of gospel artists, and then you look at that small percentage of Christian hip hop artists that are not even accepted in on radio, for radio play and different things like that, because it's so closely related to more of the secular realm. So what I wanted to do, especially with You First Media, is bring some light on these artists because they have something to share. And this can relate to anybody that's in the industry. If you feel like you are an artist that is different, you know, your music doesn't sound like everybody else's, your message is radical, you know, there is a place for you. There are people assigned to your ministry that really need to hear your music. And I don't want, you know, artists to continually get discouraged and we miss out on what God is doing through your ministry. So we focus a lot on digital marketing. And marketing is defined as the strategies and tactics used to build relationships between the consumer and your brand. What we do, and go to the next slide, please. What we do a lot of, because I'm going to connect the digital marketing with PR, right? PR is, for us, we're communicating your brand. Digital marketing, we're presenting your brand. Okay, so we work with the artists on their message. Yes, next slide, please. We work with the artists on their message, and then we present it. So we come up with tactics and ways that we can present that, where we can actually reach an audience that is waiting to hear from you. You know, so we don't fight with the trying to be like this person or trying to sound like this person so we can get radio play. No, we create our own lane for our artists. We create a new path for our artists. We bust through walls and break down barriers to make sure that the messages are getting out. Next slide, please. The biggest part of what we do is management. I've been in management for quite some years now. I've worked with multiple artists in this area, and even artists that I've worked with considered traditional gospel artists had a touch of non-tradition in them. So it's what I mean by that, say, be comfortable in who you are. Big part of management, you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are before you bring somebody on and say, hey, you know, I need to be managed. I have this music out and I want to get it out to the masses. I want people to hear it. But that person has to believe in your music just as much as you do. They have to know the message just as much as you do. They have to understand the vision that God is giving you. So management, I mean, and I know you're going to go into that a little bit, Benita, so I'm going to let you ask me some questions in that. But this is a relationship that is so vital for artists to understand, especially independent artists, not just if you're ready for management, but if you're picking the right manager. So nutshell, I know we short on time. That's who we are and what we do at You First Media.
Awesome. That's good. That's good information. Very good. Thank you, Dr. Turnell. Yeah, let's kind of dig in just for a couple of minutes on that management piece. Because so many artists, when they're starting out, they just say, I need a manager. Well, you're just starting out. You don't need a manager. You don't have anything to manage yet.
Gotta have something to manage.
You gotta have something to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once they get something to manage, what are the real expectations and real duties of a manager? What does a manager, some of the tasks that a manager is responsible for when it comes to managing an artist? What do they do?
Yeah, that can be a wide variety of things. Again, just like in PR, every manager is different. You know, you're not going to get the same thing from every manager. That's why it's so important to know what you're looking for. Because to know what you're looking for, you can pick a manager that can provide those services for you. When we talk about just in general, a manager is somebody that kind of looks over your whole team. They are the point person. You're not there. They're speaking for you. They're speaking for you and pushing you up to radio. They're speaking for you, and they're in the boardroom when you're talking to industry and labels and stuff like that. They are your mouthpiece. They are your best friend. That's your husband, wife. You know, that's who they are. So they manage every aspect of your career. There are some when I say opinions or differences of opinions about what a manager should do, because you got how the industry used to be, and managers used to come in and they would do everything. The artist would kind of just sit back and chill, and have this expectation that, once I hop on stage, then my manager get paid, but they got to do all this work.
Right.
And so now it's the winds are changing because the industry changes almost every year. So
Right.
what a manager does, the roles of a manager really, I say, would depend on what that artist needs and what that manager can provide.
Right. And you're right. Music has changed. Some old music changed since last year. So
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the industry changes seasonally. And roles they change as well. Some artists have to help artists get signed and need to know legal and contract negotiations. I know some managers that book, not all managers do booking.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Some managers aren't responsible for booking.
Yeah.
But an artist may have a manager and a booking agent. But now managers do booking. They do some of the marketing, some of the social media, a little bit of everything.
Pretty much everything. Just depends on what you need from them.
Yeah.
But those are different types of managers. What you were talking about when you talk about booking, you got artists that are ready for this level where they have to have a separate booking manager. They have a road manager. All these people are in the management position, but they manage certain aspects of that artist's career. So initially what artists are looking for, especially independent artists, is a manager, or one person, or a team of people that work with that one person that can manage all aspects of the career. And so, again, just know what you're looking for and have a budget for what you want, because, multiple managers, you're going to be looking for some payout,
Right. Because how do managers get paid?
Yeah. Well, and again, that's another thing. I want to say this, and I've said this in another group meeting before, because there's an expectation that all managers do the same thing. Nowadays, you don't have that where the manager's waiting on their 10% or 20% once you get a booking. Nowadays, no, I need my monthly stipend, and then you get your 10%, because the manager is handling all aspects of your career. And if you know that from jump, you got to respect that. If you don't want to do that, then you go with somebody that's not, doing it that way. But managers get paid based on how they structure their program, period.
And like she said, some managers can get a monthly stipend, a fee, whatever you want to call that, plus 10% of earnings. And usually this is the gross of whatever that artist is bringing in, from sales out the trunk to digital sales and streams. They get a chunk of Spotify, to book dates, any type of endorsements that you may get, et cetera, et cetera. So a manager has multiple duties. And like she said, they manage the complete brand, but they also get compensated from the complete brand as well. Now, before we go, is there something that you can tell artists? What is the most important element that artists should remember in working with a manager?
Is that person is going to be handling your affairs when you're not in the area. And I know I've said that before, but that's very important. This, again, is a marriage. This needs to be somebody that you don't take lightly in your decision making. When you pick someone, you want somebody that can truly understand the ministry that God is giving you, truly understand the vision that you have, that God is giving you, so they can push you into that area, because they're your advisor, they're your consultant, they're everything to you and your brand. So this is a marriage, guys.
It's
that important. In order for it to be successful, you guys got to be on one accord. And that is where, a lot of partnerships, they break and they don't see any results because it wasn't the right marriage. And sometimes you got to, go through things and you may go through a bad one, but it's about coming together and finding a relationship that actually works for you. But don't take that lightly. Don't move too quickly.
That's good. That's good. All right. Well, I see some activity going on in the comments. So if you have questions about marketing management, and I have a question I'm going to ask in Q&A about digital marketing, Dr. Turnell. So we will come back with more from Dr. Turnell in our Q&A. That was great. So remember, everyone who's tuned in, thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in yourself and being here at the conference. And getting all this information to help you advance your music ministry. That's our theme, is advancing your music ministry. So I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're writing down some questions. But this is great information. You can't get all these people all together in one place very often. So thank you, Brian, for having us all here tonight and doing this conference. And I hope it's blessing you guys. I'm learning a few things. Okay, so we have one more presenter, one more guest before our big Q&A at the end. We're going to bring everybody back. And our next guest is Mr. Kenneth O. Smith. He is the chairman of the Dillon County Long-Term Recovery Group, where he has devoted 90% of his time and expertise to multiple projects for relief and recovery efforts for the last 3 years to help the citizens of Dillon County. Now, he is also the owner of Divine Records Management, Divine Glory Magazine, and DRM Global Music Publishing. He's got some good information for us. Let's welcome Kenneth O. Smith.
Hi, how you doing, Benita?
Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be here. As you said, the last 3 years have been dedicated to a nonprofit. Before that, we know we're going through the time of COVID. I did a lot in music. I have been tagged as the collaborator. And that being said, that I had to start off with being in the Southeast with an area where indie artists had a time getting their music out and getting to produce. And I also had some artists from church and end up getting to be an example and use my daughter from taking her from an indie artist all the way to a Stellar Award-winning artist. I am the first label and only independent label to have a solo artist win a Stellar in South Carolina and the youngest Stellar Award winner. So I'm proud to state that. And with that being done, bringing on the main stage, a lot of indies and a lot of majors get interested in calling you. But one thing that I did, I've been tagged the collaborator for a reason, because I've been able to take nonprofits and teach indie artists how to create their ministry as a business, because it is as a business, and I'm able to collaborate a lot of the speakers as we are online tonight. And having that gift that I've teach them are beginning to make sure that they create a project task timeline. One of the main things that artists don't do as indie artists, they don't think about a time of putting efforts in how they're going to plan out their project. So they come to you and they end up going to the fourth quarter before they get through the first quarter. So one thing that I teach them is make sure that you create a project task timeline. Another thing about that project task timeline, from beginning to end, one thing you need to make sure is it's going to be the beginning, it's going to be the end. One word: budget. Your budget can determine how you start, and it can determine how you finish. But one thing as being more about that, I was also in the military. I brought a lot of my concepts that I learned from there, and I coordinate and bring them over to the indie artists. And I want to bring that tonight and be specific about it. It's something I tell the artists they need to do. They need to do a salute report. A salute report. Write this down because it's going to be educational to you. In the military, a salute report is something that states that you need to look for your size, activity, location, the uniform, time, and equipment. So let's change that over to music. The size and the salute, the S is going to be your budget. How big of a project are you looking to make, and how are you going to make it affect? The activity is going to be your plan. How are your plan going to affect what you do? Putting everything together from starting to finish to radio, everything that you need. The L, the location, is going to be your demographics. Are you trying to release a project that's going to be for your community, statewide, regional, local, all the way to Milton to international? What's that going to be? The uniform, it's got to be your look and your presence. You got to have a great look, even all the way down to your CD cover, the way you present your project. Don't hand, I have a problem with a lot of indie artists when I was doing radio, when we took CDs and all, they would take a Sharpie and write their music on it. That presentation is not good. Put it into your budget, how you're going to look. And the E is going to be pertaining to the equipment. The equipment is going to boil down to the release, the production, the mastering, your planning, your marketing, PR. What are you going to have in that? So all that comes down to say salute report. What I'm trying to say is you have to consider yourself like creating the hype. you got to be the next car. You got to be the next cell phone, because if you're not, you're going to be forgetting or forgetting that it's coming out. So what it is, indie artists, remember, how do you create the next hype so someone would be interested in buying your music? Benita, I'm back to you. I'm ready to get into the questions. Let's go.
Man, I was writing down salute. I'm learning. I was like, what? Man, that's good. I'm gonna use that in one of my presentations.
Yes,
Salute.
yes.
I love it.
You need me to repeat that again? Did you get it?
You know what? I want you to repeat that again in the Q&A so that people remember that. I'm gonna bring it up again in the Q&A, but that's good. Now you talked about first, and this is my lane. When we first get an artist, you got to start out with a budget and a plan. Tell us, and I want some real numbers here, or at least some real numbers. Like when artists say, "Well, I need the budget, but I don't know where to start." What exactly are they budgeting for? What all does the budget include? Like to not just to record, but to market themselves and to maybe effectively do something on a national scale. What is that looking like budget-wise?
Well, first of all, before you even get into it, you're going to talk about the budget. They got to be realistic of what is their level of what they can afford.
Yep.
Some artists get out there and their main thing is I'm just being real with it. They don't have a job, but they want a big plan of music. So what I teach them is there's a level and a budget for every indie artist. You got to start and crawl before you walk. So it's also things like when we started, and I'm taking, for instance, what I did. I had $1,000 budget. So if you have 1,000, giving real numbers, you have $1,000 budget, it might take $5,000. So now you got to do something called research. That goes within that salute report. Find things and levels of stuff that you can use that are free. You got to use free platforms that everyone can be at. Because when you create the hype, sometimes those things are free will eventually, or that's cost will become free because people think that they have a value or you have a value that's worth hearing. So there comes favor. So from the budget, it might be a value that comes from favor to free. So you got to create that edge, but you got to start with it. So then it's all going to determine you doing a self-evaluation on your personal income. And do not go beyond your means. And I tell people, being an indie artist and wanting to be on the same level as the major artist, this is not a lottery. Don't put all your money up there and expect to make it because you do not have a following. That's one thing you have to first do is work that social media. Do the following. They have to think about the artists that came before social media. They did it by going door to door. You got to get that Motown effect. You got to hit the streets. You need a street team. You need a presentation. You need your 4x6s. Go to the places where people get haircuts. Go to where they're barbers. Find a store. Put some stuff in there and let people start doing it. One thing I found out between the gospel industry and the street industry, those hip hop artists in the street, they get it from the trunk. They pushing their music. We don't push enough. So we need to be like it's saying the same thing. You're now witnessing your music. So go to door to door. Nobody's coming to you because they don't know you. And you might put all this money in a $10,000 project, but how can you get it out and nobody knows you? Nobody's going to buy it because you have no avenue that's going to bring them there. So you need a vehicle to take you. You need the Benitas. You need the Raul. You need the Dr. Chanel. You got to have all these people to bring it together. So therefore, you have to first sit and think and do your salute report.
Yes, definitely. I wrote that down. That's good. So in this era of independent artists, everybody's independent. Even some of the A artists are independent now. And considering where we are right now in this pandemic situation we have going on, some artists are at home doing this, twiddling their thumbs. What should an artist be doing right now during this time, now in the pandemic, in order to continue to advance their ministry? Not to get stifled, not to get off track. What are some things that they can be doing to keep going?
Some of the things they need to do through this pre-pandemic, or what I call a detox, they need to be detoxing the things out now that has hindered their ministry for when they had a chance to do it. Because now they have more time to think about it. So one thing they need to be doing is writing down their plan. They need to be writing music if they write. They need to use their social platforms to do connections. That's free stuff. They need to also, here's a nugget. I'm going to give it to you guys. Wherever you at, no matter what city, there is an Arts Commission. You need to find out about the Arts Commission and see about making, I'm giving this nugget out, turning part of your ministry into a business. Find a nonprofit such as Relay for Life, Breast Cancer Association. Partner with them. Tell them off of your project you're going to give 10%. Then you have a vehicle that's going to help you that brings donation into your business. So make your business and ministry a nonprofit so you can now search after those grants from the Arts Commission. That's enough. That's all I'm giving them, Benny. That's it. That's all I'm giving.
But you're right. Because even here in Nashville, there's all kinds of things that the Arts Commission and the Arts Council does.
Right.
And they will work with gospel artists. They will.
They will work. They will work. People don't understand. You got to look. See,
gotta do it.
You saying they're twiddling their thumbs. The most thing that we do, we imprison our mind when we have more time to do nothing because we're not trying to interact and put something there to be seeded. Plant seeds. We're not planting, so we're not watering our seeds in our mind. We're letting them just grow wild, so the weeds take over.
That's good. Yeah. So, what? And I'm trying to get these big questions in our industry. Good old gospel music. You know, I think our gospel music industry is a wonderful place to be. We've been up and we've been down. Now, what do you feel like the future of gospel music and gospel music ministry are? What is 6 months, a year, 2 years look like for gospel music?
It is looking absolutely brilliant because you have your Andre Carters, you have your Brother Reggie's, myself, and others that have that internet base. Everything is going to digital. You have Dr. Chanel and all that's doing digital. So it can be an even playing field with that source of exposure. So now you ask for, okay, I want to do this. Everyone can get their music out. But the main thing now, they have to know how to market it so that it's heard to bring someone in. But it's actually going upward. It's better now than it has before. But the only thing now is we need to put out more substance of music because there can be a danger of, I would say, depreciating the value of music with so many people having that access to do so. So you have to broaden and bring yourself to level above everybody else. And also put the presentation. It's a whole package. And what they do, or some indie artists do, is grab one thing and they don't implement everything. So it's better. It's grouping like we have this now. And you can't get this anywhere else. And so many people should be flocking and flooding here. You have a wealth of knowledge. We're talking over 100 years worth of knowledge on this call. If I was just on the outside, I'd be writing. Like you said, I'm writing some of the other things because we're collaborating and going to build each other and make stronger. One thing about a chain, it will find the weakest link to break.
You're right.
So we need to find out, as an indie artist, what is your weakest thought in your mind, in your ministry, so that you can weld it together so it won't break. You hinder yourself, but you are your first support system. But you cannot let others, and not tell anybody in a thing. This is one thing I tell them. You have never failed if you started, but also do not let anyone determine the level of your success.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
We're on the way.
Right. That's good. Very good. The last little question before we go on to get everybody back on and continue with our program. So how does an independent artist, any artist, how does an artist continue to stand out or continue to gain momentum or continue to sell music or continue to build streams? In other words, how does an artist continue to be an artist that is always doing well, growing, selling, moving, boom? What's that magic? What's that thing that they've got to do in order to be that artist?
They got to create a niche. Like, for instance, Todd Tribbett has a niche. Kirk Franklin has a niche. It's all in their character, who they built, and their type of music. You can, and Tamela Mann, you can hear their music. So what is their niche? But another thing that they're doing that would make them stand out is they take that album or the single they done, and what a lot of indie artists do is they don't exhaust it to the full capacity where they at. So you get tired of putting that one single out, and it's only reached the Southeast region.
Exactly.
You have a whole lot of people that's in the Northeast, that's in the
Didn't hurt it.
Mid-South. So they stop on the middle of the project before it gains momentum. So therefore, they have to exhaust that one project before moving to the other, because now what they do, they depreciate their own value of a song that can hit. Radio takes 3 to 6 months before getting it broke. You might be in that last stage, but you're 60 days in and you're ready to hit another song.
Right.
So now your budget doesn't hit another song, because what they're following the format or the standards of a major artist, but you are not there yet. So back up and follow within your budget and command until you reach there. Because I tell people, as an indie artist, you might be as good as they are as your sound, but you just haven't reached your capacity of who is assigned to you yet.
Yeah, that's good.
Everybody has a following. You have to find your following and who's assigned. But you do that by exhausting your music to the effect. I worked a single one time for a year and a half.
Ooh, I've done it too.
Yeah. So
Yes.
people are like, oh, you play
One song.
I mean, I bugged and sent singles to Andre. I want to play this song. Kevin down in Maryland.
Yeah.
You got another song? I said, no, we want to play this one still. It ain't hit yet. Play some more. Because I might not be hitting another thing on radio, the mid-level or midday.
Right.
I might not be hitting that time. They might be playing me at 12 o'clock at night. People sleep.
Yeah.
I want to get that prime time. You know,
Exactly.
I want to get those dollars. And it goes back to Andre's thing. If you're giving money to a station, where are they plugging your music at?
Where they're playing it.
You might be
They part.
getting spins, but you might be at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Who's up that time of night unless you're going to the bathroom?
Right.
Or you working the third shift and you got to have a desk job then. I'm through.
Right. You're right, though. You're right. And this is good. You know, this is the real stuff, though. This is
they're gonna get it real for me. They're gonna understand this is real. If y'all wanted something fake, you shouldn't have got on here, because you're gonna get it real.
Yeah, it's real. You know, this industry has its ups, downs, ins and outs, and processes. There is a process to this. And a lot of times our independent artists, they just want to jump in and be Kirk Franklin. We already got Kirk Franklin, and Kirk Franklin took a whole 2 years to be Kirk Franklin. So you got to go through this process. You've got to build your audience. 1,000 people on your Facebook page ain't going to get you much. You know, there are artists with millions. There's a process to this.
Right. I got one more thing that I always leave. I got to tell you. People tell people to be prepared to fail. You shouldn't be prepared to fail.
Yeah.
I'm already copywriting this, so y'all can take it down, but it's already copyrighted. It's 3 no's that you're going to hear. And people are going to say no, no, no. So I reverse it around. The first N is no. They told you no, so that means no, not that way. The next one is N-O-T, not that way. So learn how to do it.
Okay.
And then the third no is K-N-O-W.
Oh.
No, not no. So when they tell you no, 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 you use that as a positive word to turn it around.
That's good.
Yeah. Fail, just turn it around. No.
Turn it around.
No. So
yeah.
No, we didn't do it right. Not that way. So now we didn't know how to do it.
Right. That's good.
You
turn it around and keep going.
Turn around and keep going.
Keep going. That's good. That's good stuff. We could be on here all night. That's good stuff. I hope y'all write some of this stuff down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, this is good. Thank you for those wonderful nuggets and good information and real. I always try to tell people the real business, because we get enough of the other stuff. So let's just be upfront and let's be real about it, so that we can make sure that we're all taken care of and that we keep gospel music thriving. That's the thing, that our genre has to thrive, and we can't do it by being false and just we got to share the real information with the people.
Yes.
So, this is good stuff. So that becomes the end of our panelist discussion, and I want to thank everybody for coming on and doing their part and talking about everything from radio to marketing to publicity. Even got a little artist development in there, international marketing, all of that stuff. We have had so much good information come across. I hope you have written some of this down, and I've been watching some of the comments. Make sure that you're putting in questions or comments over in the comment section, because we're going to do a Q&A shortly and tackle some more of what we've been discussing tonight. If you have any questions, write those down. Now everybody's on here. You can see everybody. We have Andre Carter here. We have Roru Arsenault. We have Milton Allen. We have Dr. Tranel, and we have Kenneth Smith. So we are going to dig in. I had a question. Let's see, I wrote a couple down. I have a question that I would like Dr. Tranel to dig into, and Kenneth may be able to add something to this too. How important and effective is social media advertising?
Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
How effective is social media advertising, and how important is it?
Oh, very important. Again, we go back to branding and your image. The thing, this is, and I think Raru said something along these lines earlier. People buy into the product before they buy into you, and we have to understand that even as an artist, you are your brand, you are your company, you are your business. So how you present yourself on social media is huge. And especially, that's where everyone is at. Who are you trying to attract? Who is going to be buying your music? And what do you want to say to those people? If I am interested in finding new artists, finding new music and stuff, I'm going to look up the artist and find out their background and all that first. You know, I'm interested in connecting with that person because I know if they're real, if they're the real deal, and I see that on social media, that translated in social media, and their message is clear, then the music, I'm going for it. So it's very, very important.
Okay, good. All right. Now I see a question. I'm not going to tackle that one. Let's see. Okay, this one's for Milton. Let's see. I would like to get, let's see. How does someone not get hoodwinked by a phony overseas invitation? That's just real. Yeah. How did, like, for international invitations coming to perform internationally, what are some checks and balances when they get an invitation to come over so that they're not hoodwinked?
It depends on where it is. If someone gets now, one of the services we provide, I mean, it's not something we charge for, but for our clients, if someone gets a call from someone in a particular country, and I'll tell all my clients, if you get a call from somebody, call me. We'll vet them. We'll check them out. If we don't know who they are, chances are we know somebody who does. It depends on the territory. Especially in Africa, you've got a lot of situations there. But the thing about it is just being able to vet the person. But that's what it boils down to. If you have the means to do that, by all means you should. But you call somebody like me or somebody who knows somebody knows who that person is. So that would be my best suggestion.
Right. Okay, good. Another question. Let me give this one to Kenneth. Music is sold on major platforms for 99 cents. About what is another way in which artists can own or control their sales and earn more money? Did you hear that one, Kenneth?
No, repeat that again. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Music is sold on major platforms for 99 cents. What is another way in which artists can own more or control their sales and earn more money beyond that 99-cent download?
Okay. Well, it depends on which way they have done it. It's when I say the 99 cents, if they're the artist, do they have the full control of actually being the writer, the publisher? There's more money in the publishing and writing of the song. So make sure that some of the people I've met too have been putting out indie artists, putting out songs, and they haven't even registered their stuff with a PRO yet. So you get some of that, and then they're looking for the 99-cent sales, which comes back through their CD babies or some of the sale platforms that carry them, and they don't receive their residuals because they haven't registered with a PRO or even have a publishing company. You got to do those things to maximize on it. And also, you need to look at immediate funds will still be download cards and also CDs. That's not out of the picture. Which right now we're in a pandemic of doing it, so you got to monetize in other ways. I would say what we did with the downloads when we did it, we would package stuff together, like doing memorabilia sales or packages. Another nugget, I hope they're listening. If you haven't single out, make sure you get the wristbands, make sure you get cups and t-shirts, and sell those things by together as groups because they could become each has a sale for that album. They didn't catch it.
Good. Okay, very good. And this kind of flows into that same question: is how can an artist effectively marry and promote his other gifts as an artist or an author? And I'll kind of tackle that first. Basically, you always want to maximize as many sources of revenue as you can. There are artists that are authors that write books. Merchandise. I think sometimes we as artists don't take advantage of merchandise like we should. Does your website have a store where people can buy a t-shirt from you, can buy hats or whatever? You've got to learn to maximize your brand and not rely on just music as a revenue stream. Think about merchandise. If you are a good writer, think about writing a book, but think about what your gifts are and exploit them to the fullest. Don't assume that your fan base isn't going to want more of your brand. If you've got followers, they're obviously following you for something. They believe in you. Usually when people become fans and they stay with you, that's because they trust the brand. They trust what you're doing. So introduce new pieces to them, like merchandise, if you've written a book, or et cetera, et cetera. Don't leave those things out. Don't rely on a 99-cent download or a stream to get through. Maximize your brand and think about other ways to build your revenue streams.
Benita, can I add something to that?
Sure.
And this goes back to, building up that brand and people buying into you before they buy into your product. It's really about the vision that God is giving you. You have to be able to communicate that vision. What message are you trying to send to the people through your music as the foundation? But how else can you get that message across? You think about the different ways that you deliver a message. One can be through audio, one can be through reading. Everybody doesn't read a book, but they may listen to a message. Everybody may not listen to the radio, but they may, listen to a podcasting. What are ways that you can maximize your message, what God is giving you, that you have to get out to the world? You have to first know what purpose, why you're doing it, and build on top of those things. And God will give you the creativity to be able to expand. So again, know what you're doing before you get out there and do it. And then those things, you'll be able to marry those things because one will create the other. That makes sense.
That's good. Here's another question for the panelists. Should an artist charge the same price for a virtual appearance as they did before COVID-19 for an in-person appearance? Who wants to talk about that? And then the question again, should an artist charge the same price for a virtual appearance as they did for an in-person appearance before COVID-19?
That would depend on the platform that they're on and the respect for that platform. But there different platforms, like anybody can put on a virtual show. We're digital right now, so it's really, what are you getting out of it? What value are you coming out of it? That's truly up to you. You charge what you want to charge. Now, but
in general, do you think that, let's say an artist usually got $2,500 for a 45-minute set in person. Yeah. If a church wants them to come and do a mini concert online, should they still charge $2,500?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Everybody is different. But again, it depends on the platform, the relationship with that church. Some people may be bold enough to step out there and charge that. But that's
Andre, were you going to say anything to that?
a lot of it has to do with, okay, I mean, someone books an artist, a church or whomever, but a lot of it has to do with the artist's ability to market the event from their side. I mean, how innovative are they? What platforms are they using? What kind of pricing are they using? Working with the promoter to do that, to give their fan base, a discount. If it's virtual, then you have access to a fan base from a broad canvas. So I think the artist has to be as engaged. And you think about a good example are these car concerts. All right. And if you look at how they've done it, now some of them weren't so hot, some of them weren't. But if you observe the people who did a great job, like Todd Delaney, for instance, I mean, he killed it. But the way he marketed, the way he promoted, and using persona, but it's not only about persona, but it's about technique and how you do it. So I think it's a balance between what the promoter is doing and the artist's brand and how they brand themselves.
Also, I think you have to count up the costs, because just because you have a virtual show, there's still work that goes into putting on a concert. From marketing to the band to rehearsal, wardrobe, that does not change. Travel may or may not be the issue or whatever, but I just think you have to count up the costs, and like the young lady said, the platform itself and what goes into all of that. So you're not going to get off cheaper just because I'm not coming directly to you in front of your face. I'm still putting in the work to do a concert. So definitely, before you spit out a price, count up all the costs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that an artist should. I mean, their price, their brand, their value. I don't think an artist should compromise on their brand just because it's not a traditional venue. It's a virtual venue. It's still their artistry, their music, their verve, their whole thing. So no, stand tall. No. So
I'm gonna chime in a little bit as well.
That same thing. When we're booking, we put that out too. Whatever's on their rider, whatever we communicate to the venue, it's whether the venue wants to accept that or not.
Yeah.
Kenneth.
So I'm gonna chime in too. I'm going back to the question during this COVID time. I'm gonna actually say no, because I mean I know they know the work and all that's put in, but at the same time, depending on who the artist is, they can actually gain somebody that's inside the program, more artists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not artists, fans and followers, because of someone that's looking for different artists or sounds by whatever your hashtags are. You might stumble up and come on and they say, okay, well, this is only a $5 concert or $10 concert. Let me go here versus this is $100. So now you're going to get somebody that's able to have an affordable experience with you that now follows your virtual. But now what else? If you gain them buying your music, now they're going to look you up, especially that young crowd. They're going to follow and look behind you, find your iTunes. They're going to go see what record you got. So you might gain more out of it with a more affordable concert during this time until we get back into the regular.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question for Andre. How does one, where did that question go? How does the station become a BDS station?
How do they become a BDS station?
That's a question. Yes, someone on here wants to know, how does a radio station become a BDS station?
They have to agree to pay $8,000 and commit to a 2-year agreement.
Say that again, Andre.
The radio station has to make a commitment to pay the required $8,000 and a 2-year non-cancelable agreement in order to become a BDS station. Once you agree to become a BDS station, you get your contract that says that you're committing to pay $8,000. If you have advertising or no advertising, whatever it takes, you're still going to be responsible for the $8,000. So if you're going to walk into becoming a BDS radio station or monitor station, you got to agree to pay the cost to be the boss.
You guys heard it. There it is. Plain as dang. It costs to become a BDS station, and there's some work that has to be done to keep it. Okay. Okay, there's a question of branding. What is the first step to branding yourself, especially if one has range? Basically, what's the process? So basically, what's the process of branding yourself? I'll start this, and then maybe Dr. Tranel, you can come in a little bit. Well, first you have to identify the brand. What is your brand? A brand is everything, all the components of what that brand is. What the identification of the person or the product. Like Coca-Cola is a brand, because what do we know about Coca-Cola? It comes in a red can. That red can never changes. It has a white swoosh on it. It has the word Coke on it. It's a carbonized beverage. It's sugary. It has caffeine. Those are the components of the brand, and it also, Coke makes you feel good. It's related to parties and picnics and things like that. All of those components go into the brand. What is the brand? It's its identification. Once you identify what your brand is, whether you're a quartet singer, a hip hop artist, etc., then you have to start building your fan base. And building your fan base can come from several mediums. Sometimes I think artists forget that you have tools accessible to you that can help you identify your fan base. If you are on Facebook, which you should be, on your artist page, you can go look at your demographics. It'll tell you where your fans are coming from. Same thing. It'll tell you what states, what part of the country, what the demographics are. Use those tools, those free tools, to help you identify who your fan base is, so that you can then market your brand to the people. Tranel, you can add some to that. You want to add?
Well, I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I everything that you said. I mean, the brand is very, very important. I don't really have anything else, Benita. You said it. You know, I agree totally with what you just said.
All right.
I think when it comes to branding, when you start out with the branding, you should just continue to use the one logo. Synergy One Radio, from conception, has only used one logo, and that logo goes out every day. So people, they can identify and say, oh, I've heard of Synergy One Radio because of the branding, and I never changed the logo.
Right.
In the middle of the road, I'm not going to come back. That's the way it is with some artists. Some artists will submit their music, and then they want to use the acronym. They want to use a different name. Well, I don't know you by that name. I know you as John P. Key. So don't change it to JP.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a matter of being consistent.
Stick with the one branding. Stick with the one logo, and let that logo work for you. It can, in the long run, you're going to come out a winner.
Well, I'll just say one thing, and I'm ahead. There is a such thing also. You definitely want to be consistent. There is a such thing as rebranding, because when you talk about the brand, you're talking about the vision that God gave you. We don't want to get away from that so much, because we are still presenting a message from God. So if we change the name, I know artists that have changed their name, it's because they're in a season where God is transitioning them, and that name change, so the message is changing with that. But I won't even say changing, I would say growing. So it may not be colors and stuff like that, but you got to understand everybody has their own process. That doesn't take away. I still know who you are, because again, the message is out there. So you got to have a team around you that can follow you. Yeah,
and that's true. I think both Andre and what Dr. Tranel said is that there has to be some consistency to your brand, so that you can teach people the brand, so that they can identify. But because our world evolves and music evolves, we all evolve, and it's okay to keep evolving. Just don't go drastic on people so that you're not identifiable. Once you gain your fans, keep them, and they're there because they fell in love, or they trust what you have shown them, or what they hear, or what they see. You go changing that, it makes you crazy. So
they
be
buy
consistent
into you before they buy into your product.
Exactly.
Again.
Yes.
How?
So be consistent with it and keep, yes.
I noticed that there's one question where someone says, does BDS work outside of the U.S.?
Okay.
And
That's a good question.
the answer is yes. All a person has to do is go to www.bdsradio.com. Doesn't make any difference where you're at. If you're out in Europe, France, Germany, whatever the case may be, you can still go to www.bdsradio.com and register your music. I got a lot of artists from the UK who are getting on the BDS charts because they registered their music. So you can be outside of the US and you can still be a BDS radio artist.
All right. Good stuff. Anybody else have anything before we move on? Okay. Well, this has been good. I took notes. I hope you guys out there took notes. I took some notes. I learned some things tonight. So I hope we have provided some good information for you and answered your questions. We're still going to be on a while. So if you have another question, stick it in there. But we want to keep moving on with the program. And I think Brian is going to be coming back to do some cool stuff, like some giveaways and everything. So thank you, panelists, for all of your great information and for spending time with us tonight and giving a part of yourself to the people. Appreciate that. So we're going to move on to the giveaways.
I hope that y'all have enjoyed the show. We're actually going to save the giveaways till the end of the show. We're going to give giveaways at the end of the show. We're going to move now on to my brother, my friend, somebody that's really been an inspiration in my life, somebody that speaks into me when I'm down, somebody that lifts me up when I'm up. I've been knowing this brother for about the last 5 years. We've done a lot of opportunities, engagements, events together. He's just been very inspirational to me. I try to take him along everywhere I go. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you. Some may know him as Tim Williams Jr. Some may know him as Son of Faith. He is actually our featured artist for the week. There was a question going around, who is this artist? Who is this artist? Who is this artist? Well, the answer is Tim Williams Jr., aka Son of Faith.
What's going on, man? Dude, God bless you, Brian. Thank you so much, man, for having me. And what an awesome privilege this is right here, just to come to you guys live, coming to you from Augusta, Georgia, man. This is all for the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. As Brian said, my name's Son of Faith. I've been doing music now probably since I started writing at the age of 15. I became active in 2006, and I've been going ever since. So about 14 years that, I've been able to have this opportunity to do the work of the ministry. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight with this theme of advancing your music ministry. Artists out there that you're listening, I hope in everything that you're doing that you are taking some notes. Yo, I'm taking notes, y'all. Real talk. It's been so good. It's been such a good time of being able to get good knowledge and good wisdom. But three things that I want to point to you just real quick is that in advancing your music ministry, the first thing that you want to make sure that you got down is your identity. And that's your identity in Christ. You know, we've talked a lot tonight about your branding and the look and, in terms of what it is that your image looks like. But when it comes down to it, all of that means nothing unless you know who you are and whose you are, and that's in Christ Jesus. Know your identity. Number two is this: in all you're getting, get understanding. Man, there's been a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that's been coming on tonight from my sister Raru, Dr. Trinell, man, Benita has been doing this thing phenomenally. Milton, my boy Kenneth was about to get me to run out my seat, man. So much good wisdom, so much good things to hear, to get understanding. And the problem, I believe, just within the industry and within individuals is that we lack understanding. You know, scripture makes it very clear, man. We perish from a lack of knowledge, you know, I mean, and without the vision, you know, we perish, man. So it's like you got to have understanding. The third thing and the last thing before we go into the video is this. Know your success. What is success? You know, for a lot of individuals in music and in the industry, their thought process about success seems to be, you know, just like the world's process about success. But when it comes to advancing the music ministry, your success is not found in being the best of the best. Your success is found in strictly doing what God says. All right. Your success is not found in being the best of the best. It's found in doing what God says. I know we like to tie, you know, the amount of spins that we can get on a radio station. I know we like to look at our following and get an understanding and have that to define how successful we are, or the amount of money that's coming in. And truth be told, you know, there's nothing wrong with those things as long as your heart is pure in the midst of it all. But what I would encourage you with tonight is just that your success is not found in being the best of the best. Your success is found in doing what God says. So if you don't win an award, if you don't get recognition from people and individuals, if you do what God has called you to do, congratulations, my brother, my sister, you're successful. So go out and do what it is that God has called you to do. This is Son of Faith coming to you live, man. And man, to God be the glory for all that he's done. And without further ado, y'all check out this little concert piece we did for you. God bless.
Hey, we finna go all the way up with this one.
Hold up.
Sorry for the delay.
Oh!
Hey, look, crank that, bro. Turn it up.
I don't think they ready, man.
You already know me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we up in the building. About to get this party jumping.
Let's go. Somebody say it's too loud. It's too loud. It's too loud. Turn up. It's too loud. It's too loud. Hold on. Hands up, hands up. Everybody in the building, stand up. Make a sound that's way too loud for the one that made it there. Stand up. Got me feeling like, man, what? Going hard like what? Facing giants in the war room, but I feel courageous. Fireproof, man. God, I serve is awesome. Never can toss him, never can cross him. Give it easy, infinity, you know that about these awesome. So I can live the evidence of the cross him. Say I'm way too loud, way too bold. See, I'm proud to say it loud. Jesus Christ saved my soul. Yo, I'm about to lose control. In fact, I lost it. Going all out for the Christ so loud that they got hit by the Nazi. So, Jesus, the Lord gonna say so. Call up with the gold, like a man tail. I need to do the village will. 10 people, let's go. Yeah.
Jumping. The cranking knob and the speakers get the thumping. You gon' say it's too loud.
It's too loud. It's too loud. Too loud. Right there at home. Right there when you at. Let me see you touch. Clap your hands up.
Thank the Lord for that cross. Up he rose, the blood was not lost. Cause it cleanses, it brings life within it. The man that paid the wrong cost. Now the sick can heal, the blind can see, the leg can walk, the slave is free. There's hope for all of those that believe in the name of all names and the King of all kings.
No shame in this game, no pain in this game. And the brothers are looking about Jesus, man. When he's taking over, play, rearrange, never say, now living to give him everything and even more. That's how we get it in, shit, and how I'm living. Chilling out here like pillars to live with the limbs open, let every vision and riches. What is you want me to see him because of the list to quit it?
Jesus Messiah. Jesus.
Hey man, I don't need empire to go higher, just a double portion like Elisha. Or better yet, that fire. Shut up in my bones. So it don't matter how the beat go, whether he go bring the heat for sure. Not just to be some simple, everyday, normal, westernized Christian. Going to church, going to work, wasting away with no vision. I'm gonna preach and teach that fool. Even on the streets are in that fool. Even in the gas station, to the older you.
Yeah, we up in the building, about to get this party jumping. The cranking knob and the speakers get the thumping.
Somebody say it's too loud. It's too loud. It's too loud. Yeah, we make some noise with Jesus. Turn up. Hey, yo, we stegging out, man. I'm about to take off. Oh, man, yeah, all them chains gone. I'm not a perfect man, but I'm straight, though. Sin ain't dominated, cause I'm living under grace, so can't be held back no more. And all that condemnation that you bringing is a no-go. I'ma take my place as an heir to the throne. Representing well to the day he called me home. Now we taking off like the flight. 6'4", boys get a height. Soaring like the eagles to the people. Y'all can be set free. Courtesy of Christ, I'm ready. You ready, man? You already know. Last I checked, that anointing overflows. Y'all might shut the place down, but we still got the glow. Mo Tell 6, leave your hands with me tonight. Yo, can you clap your hands with me tonight? Yo, hey, clap your hands with me tonight. And if you know the dance, let me see you do it like.
I'ma take off, cause I've been set free, I got my chains
We
off.
taking off like.
Watch me take off. I've been working for the king without a day out.
He the only reason
that I fly. That I got a new home in the sky.
Say what, say what?
You know just what's real and you feel like I fail. But you ready cause we about to take off.
Yo, steady building up the kingdom like them Legos. I don't play though, but he mold me like the Play-Doh. Redeem say so, cause he made this man a wave-o. I promise you I'll change. But my name ain't Mateo, I'ma take off. Yo, watch me take off. I'm free to run, I'm free to dance and call my days off. Because I know that he got me, and now I know it can stop me just from giving him my all. See, I know that he want me, so I'm going all in like the world of the series won't stop until the whole world hit me. Jesus the Christ, Lord of it all. He can pick you up anytime that you fall. All sons and daughters of the faith, go hard for God. Don't pause the stall, just answer the call now. Getting busy for the king like your mama in the kitchen, busy cornbread, vision collard greens. Take off.
In the building, turn the lights off.
Oh, let me see you just one more time, y'all. One more time,
Get jeans, get iced out. We'll buckle up,
let me see you just.
I'ma take off, cause I've been set free, I got my chains
We
off.
taking off like.
Watch me take off. I've been working for the king without a day out. The only reason that I'm fly.
Come on.
I got a new home in the sky. So if you know just what's real and you feel like I feel. Do like this right here.
We taking off that old man, putting on the new, putting on the new, putting on the new. Taking off that old man, putting on the new. Yeah. Hey yo, we putting on faith, putting on joy, we putting on love, putting on life, putting on peace, kindness, goodness, meekness, strength for your weakness, nothing left for innocence. Yo, anger, frustration, depression, yo, fear, and all that doubt, all that lust, and witchcraft. Shake it off now, take off.
Step up in the building, turn the lights
Make
off.
the noise one time for Jesus
You already know that we
tonight.
shining. Really hope the jeans get iced out.
We gon' go right here. Let me see you.
I'ma take off, cause I've been set free, I got my chains off. I'ma take off, watch me take off. I've been working for the king without a day out.
He's the only reason that I'm fly. And now I got that new home in the sky. So if you know this what's real, feel like I feel, y'all get ready cause we about to take off. Make some noise in this place for my Lord, Jesus the Christ. Woo!
Take off. Take off. You can. Oh, I'm sorry. No music behind me. Hey, we was taking off over here though. I hope you was too. I definitely hope that you enjoyed the conference this evening and look for many more to come. It is my opportunity right now to present to you our sponsors, those that have helped us along this journey. First of all, I will be remiss not to give my wife the proper shout out that she deserves. She keeps me. She helps me. I may not always agree. We may not always understand, but that's the love of my life. And she's just added so much to me. So my wife, Camia Irby, I definitely want to thank you for all that you do every day, dealing with me, helping me, and us growing together. I love you.
Hello, I'm Camia Irby, founder and operator of One Nation Radio, launching 2021. We will have multi-genre music, ministry, and positive talk. Bring you the best in indie music.
Thank you, Bonita Bellamy Kelly. the host and moderator for our show today. Thank you, Dr. Turnell Stewart. Thank you, Milton Allen. Thank you, Raru Arsenault. Thank you, Kenneth Smith, for joining us on this call tonight, this conference tonight, being able to express, being able to show, being able to tell, being able to do the things that artists need us to do every day and can't get us to do every day. So thank you for joining us on this evening. I also want to give a shout out to Reggie Freeman for helping us create videos. I want to give a shout out to Tony D on the radio who did our radio commercial. Also want to give a shout out to the music specialist, my behind the scenes man, my get me right before I don't do right man, my best friend, very, very best friend. He don't even know it. My uncle, Alan Johnston. Definitely want to give you gratitude and show my gratitude to you tonight. But I also got some prizes and giveaways to give away. So what I've done is I've just constructed, I'm going to put your names in these hats. I have your email addresses as well. And I will email you information on how to mail your prize pack to you. We have a couple of different things. So we have a smartwatch. Smartwatch actually comes in a box such as this. Smartwatch. We have The Beginner's Guide to the Music Business. The Beginner's Guide to the Music Business. This is the book that was included with a ticket type for your Eventbrite purchases. This is the book right here that God has blessed me with, The Beginner's Guide to the Music Business. We have a Georgia backpack, a Georgia backsack. Rain ponchos. We got some rain ponchos. We will also be giving away an all access pass to All Access Africa. We'll be giving away CDs. We'll be giving away a 2-hour-long consultation courtesy of You First Management, All Access Africa's Milton Allen, and Mr. Andre Carter, the godfather of gospel internet radio, Synergy One, will be giving away 2 one-week airplay on his station. 2 one-week airplay. And we will also receive gifts from the Bellamy Group. So I thank you. The time is coming to the end. What we're going to do now is actually bring on these speakers again. And if you have any questions, continued questions, please answer it. I'll be right back to check in with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the show. Thank you.
All right, that was great. I'm gonna take off. I'm still like Son of Faith. I'm still got my groove on. Take off. I like that. I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to add that to my Apple Music playlist. I like that. Son of Faith. I'm like, yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right. I love it. Thank you for that. And just thank you for your words, Son of Faith. That was really good. Good encouragement. People really appreciate that. Yes, but we're all on here. We're going to open it up for a few more minutes for those last questions. If you all have any questions about radio, marketing, branding, management, international music, any kind of questions that you may have, the time is ticking. We're about to close it out. So get those questions in. I'm going to scroll through here one more time, see if we missed any questions. And while I'm doing that, if any of you panelists have any closing remarks you want to share, we'll start kind of at the top with Dr. T. If you want to share anything.
I would like to share just stay focused on your purpose. I think we talk so much about business. We talk about, the music, those things, but it all comes from the purpose. So stay focused on purpose and firm in your relationship with God so that we can really receive from what God is trying to do through your ministry.
Awesome. Andre?
I would just like to say that I really enjoyed being a part of the One Nation Under God conference. I felt blessed, and I was feeling good to be a host.
Kenneth?
Just want to say that it's been a great experience being on here tonight, and I just want to thank Mr. Brian Irby for putting on such a great panelists together and having a great moment and learned a lot from each one of y'all, and look forward not being the last time we need to collaborate. And I'm really just ready to kick off.
It is.
Super rude. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
I just want to thank Brian for having this platform for indie artists. And I want to also say, if this year has taught us anything, is that we need to be a little flexible in how we present our ministry. And I'm glad for the theme of advancing your music ministry. All artists that are attending this conference, please reach out to me and follow me on social media, because I will be launching in 2021 ways for including gospel artists to place their music in television, film, and video games, which is another phase of another stream of income called licensing or syncing. And I think it's important that as gospel artists, we come to the forefront of the industry and participate just like the mainstream artists do and secular artists as well.
Good. Congrats on that too, Robert. Milton.
Hey, let's do it all again. I thought this was a wonderful conference, great information, and we covered a wide variety of topics. But and from what I didn't get a chance to look at a lot of the comments, but from what I see, people ask very viable and direct questions that require answers. So I think this is a wonderful platform, and let's do it again.
Definitely. All right, Santa Fe. Have some
Yes,
fun.
absolutely, man. Wow, I'm in awe right now, just because I'm in a room full of greatness. to take it forward, man. Just awesome information, awesome conference on tonight. Just an awesome time of fellowship, man, and just being able to get understanding. And this is a phenomenal thing. And just for all those artists that are out there, just trying to figure out how, who, what, when, where, all that good stuff. You put God first. I've seen it too many times before, just in my own life. When He is elevated, He brings everything to you. It's the truth, and it's the reality that we're living in and that we're walking in. Even for such a time as this, even during a pandemic, we can still give praise. Even during a pandemic, we can still be powerful. And it's now more than ever that we need to be out doing what it is that God has called us to do. So let's do it. Take off.
That's good. Yes, thank you all for joining us, everybody on the panel. It's so great to fellowship with you guys, and I love situations like this because it's also iron sharpens iron. We are making each other better and greater. I've learned some things. Like I said, I took notes. But this has been a great platform. I hope that the artists that are watching have really gleaned some good information. And you see our names, you see us. Reach out to us. Follow us on social media. Follow everybody. Look at all the squares and go to our pages and follow us or connect with us in some manner. And I'm sure I can speak for everybody. We don't mind answering questions. Hit us up in some messages. Let us know. We're here to help you. And go to our websites and look at what services each of these panelists offer. Support them, as well. So my words to all the artists and everybody watching is don't waste this pandemic. I'm going to say that again. Don't waste this pandemic. Stay creative. Keep moving. Your mental mind going. Now is the time to reach inward and really pull out some things that have been there that you haven't been able to reach. Now is the time. This can be something beneficial, as hard as it is. I know it's been hard, but good can come out of this. Just don't waste this pandemic. Stay focused on God, and just keep pushing forward. And Brian, thank you so much for having us, for having me. continue to do this conference. Hopefully we'll all be back again next year. But I have enjoyed it. So thanks, Brian.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
No problem. No problem. No problem. Thank you more. 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 I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. We have a magazine as well, the Business and Music Conference Souvenir Program. Please leave your email addresses in the comments. Please leave your email addresses in the comments. I'm feeling pretty generous. I'll pull from there as well. I'll be sending out about 5 prize packs, and then we had 2 featured winners, John Sanchez, who is also an artist, and Tyrena Humphrey, who actually won our other giveaways. So thank you. Thank you again. Until we meet again, much love from the One Nation Under God family. Much love to each and every one of you, and continue on your journey of learning the music business. It's the only way that you will be sustainable. Thank you.